Okay, good morning class. Today we are going to learn about unit number 2 of pavement analysis and design of your semester, that is 8th semester. So in this unit, let us see what are there we are going to learn about. So first, in unit number 2 we are going to learn about material characteristics, ASHO subgrade soil classification, group index, CBR, that is California bearing ratio, North Dakota cone bearing value, plate load test for K value, Marshall's method of bituminous mix design, modulus of rupture, elasticity, Poisson's ratio and coefficient of thermal expansion of concrete, layer equivalent concepts. Next is analysis of flexible and rigid pavements, stress, strain, deflection, analysis for single, 2, 3 and multi-layered flexible pavement systems, stress and deflections for rigid pavements due to load and temperature, influence charts, ultimate load analysis, joints. So first we are going to learn about ASHO subgrade soil classification. So the ASHTO soil classification system was originally developed in the late 1920s by the US Bureau of Public Roads for the classification of soils for highway subgrade use. So this was given as American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. The system is based on the following three soil properties: particle size distribution, liquid limit and plasticity index. Students, we have already done geotechnical engineering 1 and in that we have learned about particle size distribution, liquid limit and plasticity index. So we know that higher the plasticity index, highly expensive and cohesive soil is there, which is not good for construction of any civil engineering structure. So all these three parameters are very important. So the soils are classified into 8 groups, A1 to A8, and the major groups A1, A2 and A3 represent the coarse grained soils, and the A4, A5, A6 and A7 represents fine grained soils. A8 are identified by visual inspection. So when they are coarse grained soils, then they are a non-cohesive soil mostly, and if these soils are there, the construction is easy for the pavement. But if A4 to A7 are present, then they are a fine grained soil. So in those soils, they may be cohesive soils and bad for construction. So next is, this is the table given for the ASHTO group. So American Society of State Highway and Transportation Official ASHTO, in the table if you can see that the grain size are given in mm. So if it is gravel, then it is 76 to 2 mm, and if it is sand, if it is silt and if it is clay, then clay you can see it is less than 0.002. So this is taken from sieve number 200 and this is taken from sieve number 10. So you can see that from 76.2 to 2 mm it is going to 0.002 mm. So clay soil are more highly expensive soils. In this figure, if you can see that the sieve analysis is given, and from here you can see that if this type of a curve is there, then it is if this type of a curve is there, then it is poorly sorted. That means all type of shape, size of soils are there and they are well graded soil. If this type of shape is there, then well sorted, it is poorly graded soil. Matlab maximum of the soil is of same quality, and this is defined from here. It is percentage finer and this is the grain size. So this is how the grain is taken care of by AASHTO. Then this table shows you that highway subgrade materials from A1 to A7, and here first A1 and A2 are classified. So you can see that A1 is subdivided into A1A and A1B, then A3 is in the middle, and A2 again is subdivided into A24, A25, A26 and A27. So in these categories all these material classification is given, so you can see that how and what type of soils are there in which category. In this you can see that A4 to A7 is given to you, and A7 is further classified into A75 and A76, and you can see that from A4 to A7 the soil is going from silty soils to clayey soils, and they are really fair to good poor soils. That means from silty soils fair and to clayey soils very poor. And you can see that for A7 the plasticity index less than or equal to liquid limit is 30, and here greater than liquid limit is also 30. So very bad and highly expensive soils are there in A7 category. So this is the graph ranging of plasticity index and liquid limit from A2 to A7. A1 to A3 are not there because they are non-plastic coarse grain soils. So A1, A3, A2 are passing from 200, that is 75 micron C, and having percentage finer less than 35%. A4 to A7 soils are fine grained soil passing to 200, that is 75 microns is more than 35%. So A1 are well graded soils, and A1 to A1A and A1B are also the subdivided soils. So A1A and A1B consist of gravels and coarse sand. Here if you can see that A1 to A3 are having the granular soils, whereas from A4 to A7 there are very fine grained soils. They are again subdivided into A24 to A27. Then you can see that A3, A4 soils are non-plastic soils. A5 are the silty soils which having the plasticity index less than 10% and liquid limit greater than 40%. A6 again the same value, low liquid limit. A7 are having the high plasticity which is having low permeability. When the soil is less permeable, then they are very bad for construction. So second case is the group index. So in group index, if you can see how we are going to determine. So determination of group index, value of soil subgrade. So group index is a number assigned to the soil based on its physical properties like particle size, liquid limit and plastic limit. It varies from a value 0 to 20. Lower the value, higher is the quality of subgrade, and greater the value, poor is the subgrade. So from this definition itself, it sees that GI should be minimum. If it is minimum, then the soil you can say that good quality, but if it is maximum and nearer to the 20 value, then it is bad quality soil. So you can say that it can be determined mechanically and graphically. So to determine mechanically, this is the formula given. So in this you can see that group index is given by 0.2a plus 0.005 AC plus 0.01 BD. Now you can see that this can be determined. So what is A, what is B, what is C, what is D? So that should be known to us. So let us see what is the value of A. So A is nothing but that portion of subgrade soil passing 75 micron ISC greater than 35 and not exceeding 75, expressed as the positive whole number 0 to 40. See, some numericals are there in group index, so you have to take care that A, B, C, D should be known to you, and what values you are having for that should be known to you. Okay, so this is what is given. Next is B. So B is with respect to the portion that is passing ISC of 15 and not exceeding 55, expressed in the positive whole number 0 to 40. So first A, the minimum value is 35, and in B the minimum value is 15. So in numericals you have to take these two values, and if the value is greater than 40 then you have to take 40 only, but if it is less than 40 then you will take that value. So this is how it is done for A, B. So C, that is the portion of liquid limit greater than 40 and not exceeding 60, expressed as a positive whole number 0 to 20. And again D, that portion of numerical plasticity index which is greater than 10 and not exceeding 30, expressed as a whole number 0 to 20. So C is with respect to liquid limit and it should not exceed 20, and D is with respect to plasticity index and it should not also be greater than 20. So C liquid limit is 40 to 60 and D plasticity index is the minimum limit is 10 and it should not exceed 30. So the group index, greater the value, lower will be the strength, and greater will be the thickness is required for the subgrade. So this is considered. So these are the soil types, GI value, soil type. So if the GI varies from 0 to 8, then it's good quality. So it will range from A1 to A4. If it varies from 8 to 12, soil is medium quality. So it ranges from A4 to A5. And if it is greater than 12 to 20, then soil is poor quality, ranges from A6 to A7. So calculating the thickness by graphical method, this is the graph which is given, and by this you can calculate the value. After knowing the group index, you can calculate the thickness with respect to this. So base, if your value is 15, GI value is 15, then you can just project here on subbase and project downward, so you will get the thickness for subgrade. Similarly, you are there to take care of whether it is a light, medium or heavy type of traffic. It is light, then project on light. If it is medium, project on medium, and if it is heavy traffic, project on heavy traffic. So suppose if you are projecting 15 GI on heavy traffic and it is projecting downward, then the value will be between 550 to 600. That will be the total thickness of the pavement. So these are the design curves given by CETL 1945. So these values were given by CETL 1945. So A curve, thickness of subgrade required. B is the total surface, base and subbase for light traffic. C is for medium traffic and D is for heavy traffic. E is for the additional base which may be substituted by subbase of the curve A. Next is the CBR. So what is CBR is, you'll know that it is a California bearing ratio, and it was given by California State Highway Department of USA for evaluating the bearing capacity of subgrade soil for design of flexible pavement before Second World War. So the ratio of test load to the standard load at a specified penetration by a standard plunger under controlled density and moisture contains. So standard load is given in the book, so you can refer from Punmiya or any other book, and the test which you perform, from there you will get the test value. So next is, the test is performed by measuring the pressure required to penetrate a soil sample with a plunger of a standard area. When you perform the test on a simple soil sample and the rock sample, crushed rock sample, then you will get the two values of penetration, and that should be divided by the standard load, that will give you the value of CBR. The measured pressure is then divided by the pressure required to achieve an equal penetration on standard crushed rock material, and using the values obtained from the test from an empirical design chart, the pavement thickness are calculated. So first, if you can see the first penetration in the soil sample, if you can see the base is there, then the soil sample is kept in center, the plunger is attached and surcharge weight is there, and the load is applied here simultaneously, and this plunger will go inside, penetration will be done, and this is the penetration. So how much penetration it is having, that this will give you the idea, and then the test load is calculated, and this is for the crushed stone again, and the load is calculated for the same, and the value of test is calculated. So this is the CBR plunger, this is the surcharge weight, this is the mold with collar, and the soil is inside. So the rate of penetration is 1.27 mm per minute. Record load at penetration intervals 0.25 mm to 7.5 mm, but 2.5 is the minimum and 7.5 is the maximum. Then after that we will calculate the moisture content and will plot the graph between load and penetration. So this is the graph you will get. So there are three curves, this is load and this is penetration. If you get this type of graph, then it is good quality soil. Concave curve if you get, then no correction is to be applied for the soil, and if you are getting the B curve, then you have to apply the correction. Okay, here you have to make it concave. ये S टाइप कर्व आया है, तो इसको कॉन्केव बनाने के लिए ये S टाइप से आप टेंजेंट ड्रॉ करेंगे. जहाँ ये कट रहा है x एक्सिस को, उसे हम लोग x कंसिडर करेंगे अप टू y एक्सिस, एंड फ्रॉम देयर यू विल मेजर द वैल्यूज़, एंड 2.5 एंड 5 के ऊपर इसे हम प्रोजेक्ट करेंगे फॉर 2.5 हियर एंड फॉर 5 हियर. If the x value is taken as 0.5, so correction plus 2.5 will give you the value that will, and correction plus 0.5 will give you the value. So यहाँ 7.5 into 100 divided by CBR value, 13.24 is the standard load for 2.5. So you are getting the values here, and this is for crushed stone. तो ये स्टैंडर्ड वैल्यू के लिए जो लोड मिला है उसे डिवाइड करने के बाद आपको CBR वैल्यू पर A और B मिलेगी. सो दिस इज़ द ग्राफ गिवन बाय IRC, एंड IRC says that by this graph, when you get the CBR value, these are the curves, and this from A to G are the load vehicles per day exceeding 30 kilonewton laden weight. ठीक है, तो the curve you have to find out. CBR वैल्यू आपको मिल चुकी है, और अगर आपका कर्व जो भी रहेगा A से लेके G तक से, if we say that it is F कर्व, तो अगर आपकी CBR वैल्यू 20 आती है तो हम लोग इसे F कर्व के ऊपर प्रोजेक्ट करेंगे, और इसे हम लोग हॉरिजॉन्टली प्रोजेक्ट करेंगे डेप्थ के ऊपर, तो यू विल गेट द रिक्वायर्ड डेप्थ ऑफ pavement construction. So that is how the value and thickness is calculated. So these are the equipments used: mold with collar, spacer, disc and weights, rammers. This is the whole apparatus. This is the loading machine. So North Dakota method, again this North Dakota method is just similar to CBR method, but what happens, we have to take the angle. North Dakota cone apparatus is having a angle specified, that is 7 degree 45 minutes attached at one end, and the loading taken here is from up to 9, 18, 36 and 72 loading. So for this loading you need to calculate the North Dakota bearing value. So QC is the bearing value, Q is the cone load, and P is the penetration. And the loading, minimum loading is taken from 4.5. If you double it, it will become 9. Again 9 ka 18 and 18 ka 36 and 36 ka 72 is the last. So last weight is not taken. So these are the standard loads for which you are calculating the bearing value. Next is your plate load test for K. So K, if you can see, it is given by small p upon delta. It is the coefficient of subgrade reaction K, so per unit deformation. So if you can see that K is the modulus of subgrade reaction, kilonewton per centimeter cube. P is the pressure and delta is the deformation. So setup is taken, and if you can, we have already done this plate load test in GT and your construction management. So you know that what type of loading or what type of setup is there. So minimum dimension is 30 centimeter and maximum dimension is 75 centimeter. So whatever is suitable, you can take that. So this is the setup. These are the plates stacked one above the other of different dimensions. These are the dial gauge frame. This is the hydraulic jack. This is the reaction beam, and these two dial gauges will give you these values are given, and this reaction beam, from where you are getting this plot of graph. In here you are calculating the bearing pressure, and here the mean settlement, and from here at 0.125 settlement you are getting the loading. So this is how you need to calculate the value of K. So from this graph we have calculated the value of K for standard penetration as 0.125, and the value of P is calculated from the graph. So this value is taken. Again, if you are calculating the value of K for the plate, then that will be the K of test into PS upon P. So this K initial calculated is taken here, and P is the pressure from the unsoaked material and P is the pressure from the soaked material, that will get from the calculations, and after that you will calculate the value of K. Next is your Marshall's method of bituminous mix design. So Marshall's mix method, Marshall was one of the scientists who has given you the value to calculate the Marshall's mix method. So here again the flow test provides the performance prediction measure for Marshall mix design method. The stability portion of the test measures the maximum load supported by the test specimen at the loading rate of 50.8 mm per minute. So this is taken and the specimen is prepared. So 1200 gram of aggregates is taken, and they are heated near about at 175 to 190 degree per centigrade. Then the bitumen is heated from 121 to 125 degrees centigrade with the first trial of bitumen, say 3.5 to 4% by weight of the material of the aggregate. 1200 gram hai, to 3 to 4% of that you have to take the bitumen. Then these are thoroughly mixed at a temperature of 154 to 160 degrees centigrade. Then again they are preheated, and again the molds are having the 50 number of volts. Again they are having the temperature up to 149 degree. Then the weight is taken, then they are again taken to the thickness of 63.5 plus minus 3 mm, and again plus 0.5 of trial is taken and the setup of the Marshall setup is taken. Then determination of properties of mix. The property that are of interest include the theoretical specific gravity Gt, the bulk specific gravity of the mix is Gm, percentage air voids Vv, percent volume of bitumen Vb, percent volume in mixed aggregate Vma, and percent voids filled with bitumen Vfb. These calculations are discussed. Next we will further see, and also the diagram will discuss. So first we need to calculate the Gt, which is specific gravity. It is given by this formula. So by this formula, where W1, W2, W3 etc. are given here up to WB, and G1, G2 up to GB are given to you respectively. So those are known as the apparent specific values of bitumen. So this is the setup. The specimen with respect to dial gauge is attached. This is the specimen's dimension. The loading probing ring is attached, and after this given values, all these specimens weight and volumes are calculated, and these are air void, bitumen, fillers, fine aggregates, coarse aggregate 2 and coarse aggregate 1, which are taken for the preparation of the soil sample, and the test is done. So after doing the test, specific gravity is calculated by this value Gm equals to GWm and Wm minus Ww, where Wm is the weight of mixed air and Ww is the weight of the mixed weight. Then we are calculating the value of air voids percent Vv. So Vv is calculated by this formula with respect to Gt and Gm, where Gt is the theoretical specific gravity and Gm is the bulk or actual specific gravity. After that, you need to calculate the Vma, which is voids in mineral aggregates, Vva plus V. So Vv is the voids and Vb is the percentage of bitumen. So voids filled with bitumen Vfb are calculated by this formula, Vb into 100 upon Vma. So Vb by the above formula is calculated and substituted here. You will get the value of Vfb. So after calculating this type of graphs, you get first graph stability with respect to bitumen, then flow value with bitumen, unit weight with bitumen, air void with bitumen, and Vfb with bitumen. After plotting this graph, you get the actual value or the soil type here, and that is how we finish the first part. And the second part with respect to the stresses and with rigid and flexible pavement, we will do it with respect to the numericals. So thank you so much for today.